Okay, the recording is on. So today we'll have a meeting with Kate Skavish, and this is about the struggles, about motivation, about the business. And I just want to introduce and run the quick introduction here. So Kate Skavish is an entrepreneur and serves as a Chief Visionary Officer at Wavevideo. Kate is responsible for facilitating business development, strategic partnerships, and the direction of the company growth. Kate is holding a master's degree in applied mathematics from Russia. As the co-founder of two businesses and the mother of two children, an immigrant, Kate knows all too well that no matter how detailed any research and projections can be, assumptions and expectations hardly ever match the end result. She firmly believes that struggle is sometimes the best motivation for innovation and positive change. Great. Kate, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the great introduction. I'm really pleased to be at your show.
All right. And for me, it's like I'm learning myself those introductions, so it's not that easy. All right. So it's nice to meet you, and I would love to know first your background, and I would like to know a little more about where you grew up and what did you learn and how you end up here in the US, and also how the business started. But maybe it's kind of a broad question, but let's start from beginning. Can you tell about yourself, please?
Well, as you mentioned before in the introduction, I came from Russia about 20 plus years ago, and I was very young, and I just was very romantic and wanted to see what it's like to live in the United States. Didn't speak English and thought if I would come to country, it would be very easy to pick up the new language, which was a big mistake. Yes, and my background is applied math. I always loved math until I end up in the university, one of the best universities in the country, and met other people who were so much better than me in the subject. Yeah, but still, I still love math. I teach math for a while here at Boston. It's a special mathematical school. And I came with my husband together. He's a software developer, and we are still together, and we do business together, which is very challenging.
Yeah, it is challenging. I'm surprising actually, because for me it would be hard. I mean, to do it with a family member, it's just not easy. Our backgrounds slightly match. I mean, we are both from the same country. We came from Russia. I came a little bit early. I came in the early 90s, but I've been already some time here. I still, as you can hear, I didn't get rid of the accent, so I'm still having an accent. It's kind of hard, but who cares, right? So for us, it doesn't matter that the accent is not that what defines you. What defines you is who you are, what you're doing, and your action speaks louder for itself. So how did you start? I mean, you have a background in math, so I guess you finished at one of the Russian university there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I graduated St. Petersburg State University, mathematics and mechanics faculty in applied math concentration. And when I came here with my husband, all of a sudden it was a .com boom at that time, and everybody wanted to see what it's like to build a website and make millions.
Like everybody is watching everybody wants to make a lot of money and wants to do something in there.
American dream, and this gold rush fever, it's not new. We all know about it. .coms are also a well-known thing. So back at the time, I was all of a sudden interested in doing some arty stuff. In Russia, if you study math, you cannot take also classes in arts, but I always was interested in that sort of part as well as mathematics. And finally, I found it somewhere in between. So I was started to play with Flash. It was such a player and browser, big at the time.
Yeah, I remember.
Back there. Yeah. And me and my husband first launched first business. It was a special G generator for Flash back there, and we give it away for free. Then later on, with some adjustments, Macromedia bought this company and this technology. But the interest, the passion still was there, and doing some animations, some this arty stuff online, and this mix of art and technology always attracted me. I always was love to express myself visually. I'm a painter. I used to do murals for money at some point. Yeah, so stuff like that. And after that, we started another company and then another. And at some point in 2011, when Steve Jobs announced that he's not going to support Flash on a phone, and basically he said Flash is dead. Around this time, we thought, okay, maybe we want to make Flash, but in a browser. And we thought that this huge audience, about 4 million of people who used Flash, as a group will move to another product. And of course, we hoped that product would be us. And we built some amazing stuff in a browser. It technologically was very challenging to bring all this technology and put it in a browser and make it work. But our prediction...
Was a different company, right?
Was
a different company.
Animatron. Yeah. And what we thought about market never took a place. People didn't want to have one general animation tool. They wanted small, very focused products, which will do one of the use cases, but super fast, very, pinpointed, laser focused. So basically all this market of 4 million people shattered, and we were picked up by small products, which were doing like one thing, but very good. And we were like, oh my God, we had no user. At this point, we knew that browser can support, at this time it's advanced enough, it can support video. And we know that video is started to be supported by main social media platforms. Facebook first, and then everybody followed. And we thought, okay, we can do video, why don't we do video? So we took, as everybody else, small part of this huge and complex product, put it aside and make it work for marketers. And that's how we got Wave.video. And right away it was success. So it was just like picking up people. That's exactly what market wanted at the time. And there was not as much competition back there 3 years ago. So it's really started to pick up. But again, as it took us a lot of efforts. And we thought we knew how to build products and how to sell and everything. But as we go further, we're learning. And we're learning that there are new people, new entrepreneurs who come and who bring new things which you never thought about to the market and bring more competition. So it's never-ending race of evolution. And that's what keeps me motivated and passionate about the field, because it's growing so fast. And I love it. Of course, when you probably, as an entrepreneur, start some business, you think, okay, I'll do something quickly and I'll make money. Never works like this, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. But usually it requires you like 10 times more effort than you originally thought. There are a lot of problems on your way, much more competition than you thought. No matter how well you've done your research, nothing works in real life. So one thing, when you dream about these castles in the sky, and when you start to build them, everything is not like you imagined. Never.
If we can just say, Just if you can step back and just talk a little bit more about when you started. So you're saying I mean, obviously it's right now is a success. And if you go back and just remember those days when you started, I mean, of course you don't know how it's gonna go, and what did you do, and what kind of experience you had. I mean, let's talk about some tough times. Let's bring it up. Let's see what is the startup any founder goes through.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
When was it started? So you're saying that was started at when the Steve Jobs announced that the Flash is not supported. So what did you do after? What happens then?
After that, we decided to build a prototype of future general animation product and present it to investors.
Mm-hmm. So you went for investor, you're trying to pick up some investors?
Back there, yes, we tried to pick up some investor. It was a very easy thing. We decided to first to show it to our friends, mm-hmm. Just to crystallize the pitch, you know.
Okay.
And
fine-tune the pitch, right?
Yeah, because that's very important. You need to know what kind of question. You run it through your friends and they give you some questions. You adjust the speech, make it better. Then next friend, he asks or she another questions. You adjust it again. So you're trying to build up the better deck and the better messaging.
So you went to investors. How many investors' doors have you opened?
It didn't go to investor. One of our friends said like, wow, looks super cool. Let me invest.
Oh, one of your friends. Oh, you got lucky. Okay.
Yeah, we got lucky. Got investment, build the product. It was very exciting. And first, every product starts with like 2-3 developers and a small team, a lot of excitement. But then as you release it as a SaaS product and get first customers, that's where there are a lot of questions and you measure stuff and you realize, okay, this and that doesn't work. You need to pivot. So measuring what you placed on the market and how market responds this reaction always results in a pivot. Mm-hmm. And you need to pivot a few times, and sometimes it's very tough because you make some assumptions, you test them, nothing works, and then you do it again and again and again, and there are so many.
How many times did you do it again and again and again? Because I was curious. Because I went through quite a few. I spent 3.5 years of again and again and again, 7 fully featured apps. By the time I finally end up on Blogly, but it's been a struggle. So tell me about your struggle.
Well, depends how you measure them. There will like maybe also 5-7 measure pivots before we decided to build Wave. And with Wave, it's also we continue some smaller pivoting because of the different market turns, right? Market is not static, it changes and depends on what kind of new competitors you got, what they're doing. You just cannot leave your app as it is.
Yeah. And how did you find out? How did you get the feedback?
Initially, we actually talk. I personally talk to a lot of influencers in the field. Mm-hmm. So I have like personal connections which I build with time. And that's about how we launch originally Wave.video. We launched it at the conference where our beachhead market was exactly those influencers which we were communicating with, and we knew what they need. And those people who teach their huge audiences what they're gonna do, and people trying to repeat the same. So for us, it's worked naturally. As soon as influencers were picked up, hooked on our product and started to use it, they started to talk about it, place it here and there, and that's how.
So you're saying the Wave was originally pivoted as a conference?
Launched at conference. No, we pivot. So Wave as a separate product was launched at Social Media Marketing World in San Diego in 2017, and it was like success right away. Everybody who saw our product on a stand really fell in love with it.
Was
They said,
something
"Oh."
proprietary in it? Anything?
At the time, yes. Now a lot of copies around. So at the time, we were one of the first who introduced a very simple product for making marketing videos and attached stock video and photo to it and some little animations. Nobody was doing that at the time. And this combination of features, which each of them wasn't new, but the combination and convenience, easy UI, was something that people really loved right away. And a lot of agencies started using us with like team of 15 people. And that's something that helped us a lot.
So how did you, per your experience, when it got like first traction, was there just one feature that actually stood out and actually was picked up, or pretty much all, or everything in the app that everybody started using about equally? What do you think? Because this is for SaaS is always there, because you try to pivot all the time. When you build a SaaS, you agree with me, right? When you build a SaaS, you think, okay, what works? You're constantly thinking, okay, if this one pick up traction, people are looking there. You try to pivot what the people are trying to use the most. How was it for you?
So our first Wave.video version was very basic, and people loved all the features. And then we got tons of feedback what else they need. And they were saying like, if you can do the same thing like this product, and it would be lovely to have such and such. And then we kind of started to collect this feedback and look what relevant to our core audience, what not. Interesting thing, we also, a little bit of secrets for you. If you think about SaaS, what we also were doing, we were measuring how much people love our product. And on the scale from 1 to 10, and people who loved it very much, like 8 to 10, it's a secret.
How do you do that?
We were asking them on the scale from 0 to 10. Yeah, how much you like our product. How much you will be disappointed if there will be no such product tomorrow on the market. And then if people would be very disappointed if our product disappears, we thought, okay, we are very it's a good retention here, right? So let's support. If people are unhappy with product, there is not much we can do. And we really focused on this audience in between, who thought that they love our product, but they won't be much disappointed. And we started to work with this audience and ask them questions about, okay, guys,
interesting.
What do you need? So we really tried to pull these people in the middle to be our brand advocates. And
so what you're saying is you actually work with the audience, which was like majority in the middle, because there are always will be somebody who loves the certain features, and always will be somebody who really don't care. But there is in between always the audience, and they are majority all the time, right? So you're saying you didn't focus on the like top layer of the people who really loved it, because you thought there was like exception, and you try to focus on the major big layer of the bigger audience and try to find out what kind of pain they have.
I don't think the top happy people were exception. We were thinking there were a good retention with those top 25%, let's say. It was a lot of people who were completely happy with everything.
25 is a big layer, yeah. 25
it's a big
is
layer. But we left this layer alone since they're happy already. And we worked with the middle layer who was somewhat happy, but could leave. Yeah. So we wanted to bring, to create product with a better retention. And we work with those people, and we're trying to pull them into people who somewhat happy, make them very happy with our product.
Okay. Now, question, because for me it's also interesting. How do you, of course, you probably run a lot of like demos one-on-one, and there's all the It's lots of demos, and for me it does take a lot of time, which is I don't mind. I love the demos, and I love always to show, and I always listen. So I've done so many demos, and I continue doing it. And I think it's like for me is a primary thing, primary option to have the feedback is a demo. And how it was for you? You probably run a lot of you spend a lot of time of doing it.
Originally, yes. We for us, it's very important to keep this connection with our audience and ask them questions and just ask these people, okay, guys, are you still happy? And such. And we do it in a different way. Sometimes it's a personal conversation. Sometimes we're trying to bring new people who tried our product before and said like, not yet. Okay, maybe now it's time and such. But we also run some impersonal things. So some people don't want to talk to you on camera. They want to answer questions in written. And we don't miss this opportunity as well. We also offer
so you run like quizzes and surveys?
Yes, we do that. And some people directly saying, so for example, I can run some pop-up and ask, okay, guys, would you like to schedule 15 minutes meeting with you? I just want to run some questions through you and think of your opinion, what should be the future of the product, right? Or if you don't feel like talking to me and making a call, scheduling a call, here's some questions for you. And it's their choice, right? If they don't want to answer it, it's fine. But at least we cared, and we kind of, if you want your voice to be heard, here's an opportunity for you. Take it or leave it. So that's how we work. And we have people who take this opportunity and leave us feedback. And that's very important. It's important communication channel with our customers.
Yeah, of course. So when you get the feedback, and of course, obviously you use the tools for that. Just give an example, what kind of tools? Of course, if you break down by percentage, let's say, I understand the importance of the email marketing. I understand the importance of quizzes and the surveys and everything. But how do you if you spread your effort, where would you put your effort in, and how it's being divided to get the best success possible?
It's hard to say. I'm not doing it alone. I have a team who supports me in these initiatives, and we discuss what kind of survey, what kind of data we want to get, and we discuss questions that we want to ask, and then we discuss the way how we want to actually get this data. Sometimes part of it, sometimes we want to run research, and it includes a bunch of questions, and we divide these questions. Okay, this question is super easy to ask in the pop-up. These questions require some conversation with customers, and then I segment what kind of customers I want. Based on the rating, based on many things. Sometimes the segmentation of the customers is a very important part of the survey because you get very different results, depends on what audience you pick.
Interesting. Now, visual storytelling in digital marketing, how it is, because you are, of course, the Wave right now pivoted to this visual storytelling. It's not any conferencing anymore. So it's more of the visual storytelling. So what do you think of how important it is for the business?
Visual storytelling is everything for the business. People tell stories, and stories is how we consume and remember content the best. So nothing will replace the story ever. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And a lot of data supporting this fact. I'm not just saying it to say. I really believe stories something that we learn how to tell visually and how to tell differently, how show my product is also. The storytelling evolves even for me. The product 3 years ago is not the product now.
Not the same.
Not the same. It's bigger. It's required more time to show. I have to do the sacrifices. If I have this time, what features do I show? What are essential? What sells at the moment? And interestingly enough, the features, the things that used to sell Wave, they're not enough anymore. We need more stuff to sell people to hook to sell product, to hook people on the product. It's evolving with market, with other competitors around, with software around. It's very interesting to observe this evolution also.
Interesting. So there is a lot of being on AppSumo, and you are on AppSumo, and being on AppSumo, there are a lot of video apps appears. A bunch. I've seen a lot of video apps right now on there. How do you compete? So what do you think? What will separate you from them? How do you actually make that uniqueness where? And how do you focus on that? Because it's very difficult for any business to become. They have to be unique. There is no other way to be in any in today's world, per my opinion. So how do you do it? How do you make sure you stay unique and you stay different?
Well, we work hard. And we work a lot.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah, but we work hard for quite some time. And we stick with things that work, and we run a lot of tests to figure out what works. And if you look at this many apps on AppSumo, you will find that people praise our app very highly. We have 5.6 tacos out of 5, and there are like 80 something reviews and a lot of sales. And people saying that that's probably the best purchase from out of 100 deals that I had on AppSumo. So really positive. Of course, some negative feedback, especially from people who didn't spend enough time in the product, because product is quite advanced at the moment. And they need to figure out how it works, to spend some time, different parts of the products which they missing or misunderstood. But overall, what I think separates us is a very simple UI. We spend a lot of time on thinking through the UI of the product, and we spend a lot of time to listening to people's feedback. For example, right now we're going through a major UI rebuilding, I would say. We completely rebuild timeline, because people now wants to do longer videos. It used to be people used to do like 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. Now they want to do like 10 minutes video in Wave. They want to, it's advanced enough so they can really make interesting video for YouTube, make different types of overlays. So the product becomes so much more advanced than before that we need to catch up, with some parts of it.
Yeah. Well, yes. Now, when did you start on AppSumo? You had the very first. Is it your first iteration on AppSumo, or already like follow up?
We were on AppSumo about 3 years ago with this Amatron, very complex product for. It mostly was for educational audience, because the product had a rather steep learning curve and needed some time to learn it, and it worked best for universities and for some people who had time to invest in this learning process. And now it's combo. We sell both products. Originally we thought to go with one, but then we decided, why not to bring another one, hopefully to get. So the idea of AppSumo for us right now, we want to get more publicity, and we want to get more the product in front of new audience and more people. And I believe that audience of AppSumo pays not as much with money for the product, but with reviews, with something else.
Yeah.
So I know that we sell our product for nothing.
I know. People just don't, sometimes they don't understand that there's like what, $50, $60, $70, $80, but there's lots of work goes in it, and plus the support after that. It's important that you continue supporting it for years to come.
Right.
But nobody will be paying. So being in AppSumo is great thing. but at some point it need to stop, right? So a lifetime.
Absolutely. It's great. It brings new audience into your product, and that's people with a new point of view. They write about you, and that's how we get the value from this type of audience. But of course, there is associated cost of running business with these people, including support, as you mentioned, and rendering of video. It costs some money. So yes, but we believe it will even out with time.
Yeah, but of course they are early adopters. They can guide you. They can give you lots of advices. They can actually test in. They are beta testers pretty much because they don't mind to have some bugs. As long as you follow up quickly and you resolve them, they're okay. So, which is great because they don't understand there's like early stages of the app.
And we love the audience of AppSumo. They're so energetic. We love this people and their mood. I kind of love it. It feels like second launch, you know.
Yeah, for me, you know, personally, when I interact with the people on, and actually I do it myself, interacting with all the people on the chat. It's interesting to see when you have 200 countries appears everywhere on the chat. You see 200 countries. It's unbelievable. You talk to Brazil, you talk to Vietnam, you talk to China, you talk to everybody on Earth. So it's amazing. I mean, having so many people from different parts of the world. Yeah. Now, one question is, your education is in math. So you are the math major, basically, right? How math and the video. So can you tell me how they interact with each other? I mean, how do you use your educational math in the business? Is there any applied math in the business?
Unfortunately, I got my degree about 25 years ago, which is a long period of time, and I'm not already as sharp in all these algorithms and all these statistical things that I used to. In general, it helps me. I think the education learned me the way to think.
Yeah.
And to see, sometimes I look at the data and I feel like 2 and 2 doesn't give me 4 in the end. And I think, okay, how they got this data? And I start to ask questions and we realize that, okay, something is off, something doesn't work. That happens a lot. So basically, and I think that this analytical thinking helps. And of course, running SaaS, I love to talk to real people, but you get so much more from different type of statistics, and feel comfortable looking at the data and understanding that data could be misinterpreted. Sorry. Sometimes it's helps, but overall, I don't know, not much helps. Just
well, it's maybe you're just lowering the scale, but I think that having a math background, of course, naturally helps you from analytical perspective. Your decision making process is different. The way you run, maybe you resolve certain issues, you approach it from the logical point of view, and like you said, you're looking at the data and you make a decision which could lead you in certain directions much faster.
So we love to ask these questions in a team. Okay, we have this question or this assumption. How we can get data to test it? What kind of data we need? How we can get them? How we measure those things? So that's always a question, because emotionally you think one thing work, but when you see the statistics, sometimes you're really surprised.
So how's your interesting for probably many people, and for me myself, I always compare to someone who is running a SaaS business, and of course it's difficult to start. Of course it's difficult. There's lots of sleepless nights and everything. So what was some of the greatest moments, some of the worst moments in your business? What do you can you remember when you have, how much when you have lots of work? What is the toughest time you had?
It's on and off all the time. And it always keeps you, in a saddle, I would say. So, for example, I talked that we launched at the first conference. Firstly, we launched Wavevideo at the conference, and night before the conference, we had a stand. We paid for it $20,000, but we didn't have app on production. It was on test, and it wasn't deployed. And I was like, our CTO was called me. I was with a marketing team in San Diego, waiting for the flight from Boston, and he calls me and he says, I'm not ready to deploy, but I will work on a flight. It's 6 hours. Hopefully, we will launch it tonight. And I was like, what do you mean? we have to show it tomorrow. We have a stand. We paid so much money. And he's like, I'll try to do my best. So imagine the situation. What helps me, I like to run. So I say to the team, okay, half an hour break, I need to run. I put on my shoes and run alone. In San Diego, and I was like, oh my god. And on the other hand, okay, money already paid. Okay, so it is what it is. And then guys arrived to San Diego and they launched Wavevideo in the Uber. They start the deploy in the Uber on the way to the house that we rented. And it worked next day. So, but until the last second, and it's very, very stressful because you have a team and you have to explain the situation to them somehow. And you have to... So I come from the run that day, and we go and think about plan B. If they don't deploy tonight, what are we going to tell our, visitors on the stand? Hopefully, stuff like that. And now it's different things. For example, from the last week, two stressful moments. One stressful moment when all of a sudden half of our website is not shown on Google, and we missed 2/3 of our traffic. What happened? We have a lot of traffic from our blog. Somebody put the wrong meta tags, and Google doesn't see us because we have do not follow link for the whole blog.
Oh wow!
And we were like, oh my god, we checked it, but then we fixed the problem, but then Google crawlers didn't return until another 10 days, and we lost.
So 10 days you had like missing traffic for like half of the traffic?
2/3, I would say. Wow. Yeah, so it's...
Talking about the content now, so you're saying most of the traffic comes from a blog. So now my app is about Blogly, is about blogging. So we help bloggers to write better blogs. So we automate things, we publish things, we help to contain all the organization. And tell me that how's your blog? You already said that blogging is about 2/3 of your traffic. So people sometimes in disbelief. They don't think that the content, they always postpone. And I used to do that as well. Like for the last 3 years, I was thinking, okay, when I finish my app development, whatever I need to do, I'll start doing the blogging, and then we'll bring it. Then I decided, okay, maybe I can pay someone and get the bloggers to do something that will bring me the Google traffic. So I did pay, and unfortunately was a total waste, paying for 6 months, writing 2 blogs every day for 6 months. You can imagine.
Wow.
I could have had a lot of traffic, and I didn't. And the simple reason was, first of all, people didn't care. And the traffic and the blogs was thin content, basically just repeating the content from someone else's website, maybe nothing interesting, not original. So what was the point? I wasted so much money paying for non-original blogs, and the blogs didn't bring me any content, and it was so much effort was involved, was wasted, and the time and the money. So what your position on that? How much blogs are important to you? I mean, are you writing how much attention you pay to your blog content?
We pay a lot of attention to our blog. This brings a lot of business, organic traffic to our website, a lot of business. Many people, so we have certain niche which we picked for our blog, and we're one of the best in this niche. And a lot of people who comes to our blog and start to read it, they become our customers because they know, they learn so much. They're ready to go and start doing these videos that work. And they learn a lot of stuff how to make this video work in our blog.
Wow.
Yeah, and we really put a lot of efforts into it. So first
Who writes the blogs? You have a special people, special department.
Department. We have right now we have 3 people. And there is a lot of keyword research goes into what content we publish. We have this strategy. I cannot say that it's optimized very well, so we always find how to optimize it, how to make it optimized for SEO search, how to make it optimized for onboarding, and stuff like that. And sometimes we're surprised how long we didn't notice this problem or that problem, and it's so obvious, but it's here. So it's it's a big part of business.
Wow. So that's what I thought when I was finally I discovered, okay, that's the only one way to bring organic traffic. Without organic traffic, you end up doing 2 things. Whether you pay for traffic, the Google, which is extremely expensive. You can imagine that you start paying for all those clicks that people are coming in and finding your app. It's a mess of money. It just, we're talking like when I was developing the first project, one of the project applications, I realized the competitors are paying $500,000 a month for the traffic, and now you're trying to compete with them. There's no way to compete. They can grab everybody, and the first top 10 results are like it's a 90% of people don't even go beyond the top 10. So you gotta be first in top 10, and the better off you gotta be on the number 1 for specific keywords. So then I only realized how important it is to pay attention to keywords, finding the keywords. That's a separate application that doing. Then write the content for those keywords. So SEO optimization is extremely important.
Absolutely. And another thing that Google doesn't really look into one keyword. Algorithm looks in this semantic cloud. So you have to actually nail the whole group of keywords to be noticed by Google and to rank for them. So you don't rank one keyword, you rank for this cloud. And so a lot of fascinating stuff actually happens when you really start to look into it.
Yeah. And when you realize this right at the beginning that you need to put the attention to the content? You pay attention?
No. It's how to say, evolution in itself.
Because I realized it. I think I realized it too late for my original apps, and it was kind of I build the app and I realized and I hear the crickets. Nobody comes. Nobody. I was like, okay, having couple thousand people a month on the website, it doesn't bring the traffic. So you gotta bring like 50,000 people, 100,000 people. Then you can get some traction. But otherwise, no way. Without the content, you cannot bring the people. You need to provide the value. So when you provide the value, you're probably looking at writing some blogs that not only give a value to customers so they learn something, but also they would know how to operate the app as well, right? How the app is doing what kind of value app gives them, right?
So there are different search intents that people, when they type something, they might type a question, they might be looking for transactional, buying something already, or there are different intents. For each intent, you have to provide certain content, and some content is provided in your blog. We also have knowledge base, which explains stuff, landing pages. So there is a whole universe of tracking people. Lots of content.
Lots of content to make a Google send you people, right?
And with Wave, we started together work on a SaaS project and on a blog. So by the time when Wave was launched, we already had strategy. We already published like 2 blogs a post, 2 posts, 2 articles a week. about video. So it was something that unfortunately requires at least half a year to start to rank for certain keywords on Google, and we started this work ahead of time.
So that's what I learned also. I was surprised to find out that blogs don't rank right away. It takes time. It does take few months at least until it start ranking. So this is it's just the content evolution is so complex. So what is your strategy on the content? So are you writing like I mean, how many articles you do per week? And do you have like specific schedule? Do you have like editorial schedule that you paying attention what's coming out? And how deep are your articles? You probably write like really, they call it the pillar posts, right? About some certain subjects.
So right now we're doing blogging for quite some time, and we have a lot of articles in our blog. Now content strategy evolves with time. So now we notice that we get better results into updating existing blogs, articles, and putting more efforts into making articles which are already popular even better.
They become even more popular.
Yeah. So basically taking some old articles, working on them from SEO point of view, adding more helpful material, more links, more videos, more visual applying content, gives anything into blog, making them really stand out from what is on Google at the moment. That brings the best results. So some of the blogs after this massive update, they just fly out and get picked up by Google.
Wow. Yeah. Now this is important because I have developed knowing this when I learned it, when I was doing the blogging. I started doing the blog, and I learned that this kind of phenomenon, the you pick up the older blogs which already maybe give you some traffic, and you just simply reward them, but do not change the date, do not just simply update it, and refocus on a specific keywords, and you get even better result after that. Sometimes it's even better than you could have imagined. Those blog posts can actually outperform even the newer blog posts 10 times.
Absolutely. It really brings return on investment onto a new level when you put more efforts into stuff that already works relatively well.
And definitely I plan to give you also the Blogly overview. I would love to, and I'll show you the strategy that I built for bringing the old blog quickly, importing it, re-optimizing it, and publish it back again in the same spot, in the same the post ID. But I'm not sure. Are you keeping the WordPress for your blogging? You do WordPress, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, very interesting. So, and the final question would be: what do you see yourself and your software like in a few years from now? In 5 years from now, what are your plans? I mean, at least for now, I know it's evolving, but right now, what do you think?
So I'll keep it a secret, but I'll tell you following. In a half a year, by summer, we plan really big update of the whole platform. Yes. Besides, like every updates for our Wave, small updates here and there, new features supporting blog articles and stuff like that. But then something new and big is planned for the summer, and it's a secret. We're not gonna tell it yet until we have a prototype and can show off properly. But there is a lot of stuff brewing in our team, and it's always evolving, as you said, very exciting, but it's at the moment it's a secret.
Okay, all right.
So let's meet in 6 or 7 months and do this interview again.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I guess we can wrap it up. So we had that almost an hour. So do you have yourself any questions or any suggestions for that, like a startup founders, the newly people who are inspiring startup founders? Can you say a few words for them?
First of all, I think that if you start startup, be prepared to pivot. And the more often you pivot, the faster you will find your right direction. And that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, pick your niche as small as possible. So it's very important to become a big fish in a small pond in the beginning. And start to grow from it, and be very important and irreplaceable product for small group of people. Then it's much easier to grow from that.
So focus on a niche. Niche is everything. You cannot sell everything to everybody.
Absolutely.
There's only one thing is when you focus on just one niche.
Yeah. And we learned it the hard way with Animatron when we try to please everybody, and then pleased.
So you please nobody when you try to please everybody.
Absolutely. That's my key lesson in this life as an entrepreneur.
I'm still learning. Yes, definitely this is the biggest advice. Yeah, that's a number 1. You should not spread yourself. Just focus on one niche. Even though sometimes it's tempting to bring extra features, do this, and we can do this. Yeah, it's nice, but
it doesn't work.
You're wasting your effort. You're just spreading it and say, okay, I can do also this, and I can do this, and we can do this. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
You just pick the niche, and you're trying to be the best in that niche, right?
Yes, that's the best advice I can give.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure to have you. I think
pleasure was all mine. Thank you.
I think we covered quite a few questions. Hopefully, the people can pick up that, and it's for me is a startup is like already becomes like it's a second me now. Talking about when I quit the corporate was I don't want to even return back. So for me, it's like no way. Even if I would go through the last breath, and I will keep that going. So this is how I view it.
Sometimes I feel like maybe working for a bigger company would be so much easier, less pressure and stuff. But
it definitely will be.
Not happening.
But it's just not easy. Just not
not for me. Yeah.
Not for me. No. Yeah. Even though it's a lot more comfortable and no pressure, no stress, a lot more sleeping, and vacations, of course, and no pressure on vacations. There's a lot of things involved, but yeah, but different people for different people, different things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like we are almost soulmates. I feel exactly the same way.
All right. Thank you very much, and I guess we all done for this time. So hopefully we'll meet then in the next, say, 8-9 months, and then we can see what your update is all about.